Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Your Average Tabletop. I'm Zach, and for today's video, I'm going to be unboxing Teotihuacan City of Gods. I think that's at least somewhat close to what the name is. It's probably not exactly right, but it is close, I hope. On the back of the box, it kind of says, travel back in time to the greatest city in Mesoamerica and become a part of its history. So, it's got a picture of everything in there. It looks exciting. It looks Euro-y, but that's exciting to me. It's also got the Seal of Excellence from the Dice Tower. I think I really like this cover, and I like the font they used for the name of the game. I think that looks really nice, or it matches. It blends well, I think, with the other colors on the box. But let's try to get this thing open. Let's see what we got here. Oh boy. Got a lot of extra baggies. Which can usually be a good thing. I don't know, sometimes inserts in game boxes aren't always the best, and sometimes it's just easier to use baggies, especially if they have little air holes in them to make it easier for storage. But the first thing we got here is, there are some dice. Looks like we got 4 different colors here. Pretty basic plastic dice. They look pretty clean though. Pretty nice color set. They're all pretty easy to tell apart. I don't have any struggles with color blindness, so I'm not sure if that's something that's a problem here or not, but I know they don't have red and green here, so I think that's typically one of the big ones. So they look nice. They're pretty good size. They're not too small. It's always nice. I will save that. I think that's probably the most exciting thing. Then we got a rule book. It's got the same picture as the cover. We got about 23 pages here. Looks like it's got some good examples in the book. I hope it'll be easier to learn. And you got some starting tiles on the back. And it kind of looks like it gives a good description of what they'll do, hopefully. It's always nice when they have a nice thing on either the rules, or also if they add something else that gives a good example of what everything does, because sometimes that just seems like sometimes there's questions on them, even if symbology looks good, and they're just sometimes extra questions, so it's nice to have that. Oh boy. Then it looks like a majority that's in here are some boards here. What do we got? I don't know if these must be player boards. Got some different colors. We got a few of them. I was going to say this is pretty thick cardboard, but there's a couple pieces that are kind of stuck together. It's still pretty thick, pretty good thickness to the cardboard. Good size. I think that'd probably be a player mat maybe. So it looks like we got a few different colors. Otherwise it might just be a board that you add dice to. I think the artwork looks pretty nice. Kind of matches what I was expecting. Definitely has a Euro-y type look to it. We've got a bunch of these smaller tiles. Got another similar board. Not sure if it's a player board. If there's only 3 of them, let me see. Feels like there's another. I'm not entirely sure here. This board. Boards are all just falling, popping right out. Yeah, and the artwork is pretty consistent, it looks like, throughout the whole thing. I think I like it all quite a bit. It's not too flashy, but I don't think it's trying to be. I kind of like the kind of rustic look to it. That's the kind of vibe that I get from these. Looks like there's a bit of symbology on this, so hopefully that rule book will be pretty helpful, because looks like you'll have to learn a lot of different symbols. And the only other tea game I've played so far, well, I guess I've sort of played 2. I own Teotihuacan. I've played Tzolk'in. I've both played them once, and Tzolk'in was on Board Game Arena I believe both of them kind of used a decent amount of symbology as well to do some things. Ooh, we got a promo tile here. Not quite sure what that's for. Oh, it's for Dice Settlers. Might have to get that game now. Who knows? Trying to sell me on another game. Looks like this is just maybe possibly resources. I'm not entirely sure. But they all still have that similar look. So back in the box. Doesn't really have an insert, so those baggies will be nice. Looks like we've got a pretty big board here. Oh boy, do we have a big board. Don't think the camera can even do it justice. No, we got... Looks like we got different locations that you can take different actions. Yeah, I can't even fit it all here. This is going to be a huge, huge table hog. This is going to take up a pretty big chunk of the table, so hopefully your play area doesn't have to take up too much space, because you're not going to have much unless you have a really large table. This is a huge, huge board. Yeah, it's as if you took, would it be 6 of these boxes and stuck them out on the middle of the table. It's pretty large, but it's also exciting because I think you're going to hopefully need a big board for placing these. This is kind of one of the hooks that drew me into this game. Ooh, we got some other items in here as well. Looks like we got some gray cubes. Not entirely sure what these are for. They kind of remind me, they're not as big, but they kind of remind me of the cubes in Emotep. So I wonder if they'll be like stone or something. Then we got some, what I'm assuming are wood. They kind of remind me of either the road pieces in Catan or blanking on another game. I think there's another game that has pieces just like that that use them as wood. And it looks like we got some circular cubes of 4 different colors, so those must be player colors, or not cubes, little cylinders. Pretty nice quality. They might be a little small depending on what you have to use them for, but they're not too bad. They're not extremely small where you wouldn't be able to move them very easily. Move them around and pick them up. And then we got some white house-looking things. This will be interesting. I don't know if I've seen something quite that shape before. Ooh, and then we've got some, what I'm assuming are gold. They look like gold. This is typically what a lot of games seem to use. But depending on the game, some of them use a little bit of a darker color, more of an orangish color. And then we got the other 3 other player colors, cylinders. So we got red, black, navy blue, and yellow. Those are an interesting selection of colors. And last but not least, ooh, these are not quite what I thought they would be. These are a lot lighter than I would have guessed. I didn't know if these were somewhat domino-like, but they are wood. And they're actually pretty light. But they got some interesting symbols on there. It's really, really nice artwork. It's really clean as well. It'll be interesting stacking these up on each other. That's what I've mainly looked forward to on these for this whole game. Just an interesting thing that I haven't seen in any other games that I have. I'm sure there's other ones that have that type of stacking in them, but it'll be interesting to see how these go together and work out. But no, it looks like a lot of nice, interesting artwork. Definitely looking forward to this now. I think this is probably my favorite thing about the game, because I haven't seen that in any other games, and it kind of gives me that extra hook to want to play it. Some Euro games, I'm a big fan of Euro games in general, but some of them lack that component in them that really draws me in to want to play again, but I think this will be one of those that will do that. So I definitely look forward to it. It's going to be a lot of punching out, it looks like, although most of the stuff already fell out, so that's nice. I already have that pre-punched, and those are pretty big pieces, so those are a little easier to do than some of them with a ton of small pieces. So hopefully I'll be able to punch those out relatively quickly. But otherwise, that is everything that is in Teotihuacan, City of Gods. If you have any questions on this game, hopefully I'll be able to play it by the time this video is posted, so I'd respond to any questions asked. I'll give you my thoughts on it even if you ask. But otherwise, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, please give us a like and possibly subscribe if you're willing to. But as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling.